Greetings, YouTube and fellow traditionalist Catholics. This is Sir Sarah II, and welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to be doing another Bible study video, and I'm still covering the book of Genesis. So I've skipped a few chapters, and I wanted to cover one chapter in particular, which to me I find important, and that would be the story of Abraham that we already know. So before I even get to this chapter that I'm going to be reading, because it's to me is like the most important, especially in these dark times that we are living in right now. So we're all familiar with the story of Abraham. The, to me, the way how I read this carefully and interpreted it, to me, it was like Abraham was having his faith tested by God. So no matter what God said to him, Abraham would fulfill it. So there's one part within his story of his life. He has a nephew named Lot, and his nephew has a family, but Lot and his family leave the tribe that Abraham was in charge of and heads directly for the town of Sodom, which we all have heard of, a city that was known to be filled with sin, in which, in this case, we see God destroying both Sodom and Gomorrah for the sins they have lived with. So I'm going to be covering chapter 19, verse 1 through 38. Excuse me. To me, this is like the most important because, like I said already, we are living in dark times. That we're seeing so much immorality being allowed, and then it's being embraced because it. Because if you saw my last video where I talked about Noah's Ark and how God decided to flood the earth because of a lot of evil, a lot of sin that had taken place, it feels like we're already at a point that God can just rain down again with balls of sulfur and destroying those that have been destroyed by the hands of God because of the sins they have embraced. So let's go ahead and get into it. Chapter 19, verse 1 through 38. This covers the story of Lot, and I'll get into the end, and I'll get into the end of it. So here we go. Chapter 19. And the two angels came to Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting in the gate of the city. And seeing them, he rose up and went to meet them, and worshiping pros- and, and worshipped prostrate to the ground, and said, I beseech you, my lords, turn into the house of your servant, and lodge there. Wash your feet, and in the morning you shall go on your way. And they said, No, but we will abide in the street. He passed them very much to turn in unto him. And when they were come into his house, he made them a feast, and baked unleavened bread, and they ate. But before they went to bed, the men of the city beset the house, both young and old, and the people together. And they called Lot, and said to him, Where are the men that came into thee at night? Bring them out hither that we may know them. Lot went out to them, and shut the door after him, and said, Do not so, I beseech you, my brethren. Do not commit this evil. I have two daughters, who as yet not who has who as yet have not known man. I will bring them out to you, and abuse you them as it shall please you. so that you do no evil to these men, because they are come in under the shadow of my roof. But they said, Get thee back thither. And again thou camest in, said they, as a stranger was it to be a judge. Therefore we will afflict thee more than them. And they pressed very violently upon Lot, and they were even at the point of breaking open the doors. And behold, the men put out their hand and drew in Lot unto them and shut the door. And them that were without they struck with blindness from the least to the greatest, so that they could not find the door. And they said to Lot, Hast thou here any of thine son-in-law, or sons, or daughters, all that are thine? Bring them out of the city, for we will destroy this place, because their cry is grown loud before the Lord, who hath sent us to destroy them. So Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-law that were to have his daughters, and said, Arise, get you out of this place, because the Lord will destroy this city. And he seemed to them to speak as it were in jest. And when it was morning, the angels pressed him, saying, Arise, take thy wife, and the two daughters which thou hast, lest thou also perish in the wickedness of the city. And as he lingered, they took his hand, and the hand of his wife, and of his two daughters, because the Lord spared him. And they brought him forth, and set him without the city. And there they spoke to him, saying, Save thy life. Look not back, neither stay thou in all the country about, and save thyself in the mountain, lest thou be also consumed. And Lot said to them, I beseech thee, my Lord, because thy servant hath found grace before thee, and thou hast magnified thy mercy, which thou hast shown to me in saving my life, and I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil seize me, and I die. There is this city here at hand, to which I may flee. It is a little one, and I shall be saved in it. Is it not a little one, and my soul shall live? And he said to him, Behold, also in this I have heard thy prayers, not to destroy the city for which thou hast spoken. Make haste and be saved there, because I cannot do anything till thou go in thither. Therefore the name of that city was called Segar. The sun was risen up the earth, and Lot entered into Segar. And the Lord rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven, and he destroyed these cities and all the country about, and the inhabitants of the cities, and all things that spring from the earth. And his wife, looking behind her, was turned into a statue of salt. And Abraham got up early in the morning, and in the place where he had stood before with the Lord, he looked towards Sodom and Gomorrah and the whole land of that country, and he saw the ashes rise up from the earth as the smoke of a furnace. Now, when God destroyed the cities of that country, remembering Abraham, he delivered Lot out of the destruction of the cities wherein he had dwelt. And Lot went up out of Segar and abode in the mountain, and his 2 daughters with him, for he was afraid to stay in Segar. And he dwelt in a cave, he and his 2 daughters with him. And the elder and the elder said to the younger, Our father is old, and there is no man left on the earth to come in unto us after the manner of the whole earth. Come, let us make him drunk with wine, and let us lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night. And the elder went in and lay with her father. But he perceived not either when his daughter lay down, nor when she rose up. The next day the elder said to the younger, Behold, I lay last night with my father. Let us make him drunk. Let us make him drink wine also tonight, and thou shalt lie with him, that we may save seed of our father. They made their father drink wine that night also, and the younger daughter went in and lay with him. And neither then did he perceive when she lay down, nor when she rose up. So the 2 daughters of Lot were with child by their father, and the elder bore a son, and she called his name Moab. He is the father of the Moabites unto this day. The younger also bore a son, and she called his name Ammon, that is, the son of my people. He is the father of the Ammonites unto this day. Okay, sorry that kind of took a while and kind of read a bit slow. So, 2 angels appeared to Lot, telling them they need to leave because God was getting ready to destroy both Sodom and Gomorrah. And Lot's wife, name unknown, disobeyed the Lord by turning back, looking back at looking back at Sodom, and immediately turned into a pillar of salt. Lot and his daughters escape into the mountains without any harm done to them. And what I just read right now, verses 32 all the way to 38, since they don't have any husbands to have children with them, I hate to kind of say this the way how I read this. It seems to me they wanted to preserve their father's um, bloodline by literally getting him intoxicated with wine and to have incest with them and then bear his children. It's the only way to preserve to preserve the family tree of their father, keep the family bloodline going. Lot and his daughters, they're in exile for life. They don't. Abraham does not even. I'm sorry. They're both in exile for life. They don't see Abraham ever again. So we already know what happened. So we already know already with the story of Abraham and what happened in Sodom and Gomorrah. 2 cities engraved in sin, and they're both destroyed by God by fire and brimstone. Brimstone is a word for sulfur, as we all know. So, as I mentioned in the beginning, like we're seeing right now in today's society, not just here in America, but also around the world. We're just seeing sin being normalized. And there are some things that I do not want to say on this platform because knowing I'll get demonetized or shut down. There's a lot. I'm pretty sure a lot of you would understand what I'm trying to point out here. If God can destroy the cities, why hasn't God done anything to prevent such evil by destroying those that have engaged such a livelihood? Because you're just putting your soul at risk. And I think the word Sodom is like where we later get the word sodomy from, which we all know what the term sodomy means. Gomorrah, I can't think of another. I can't think of a word that. I don't think there's even a word that you would call someone a sinner that kind of like traces its name back to the city of Gomorrah. I'm just saying, but I think I already know where the word sodomite comes from, and it has to do with the city of Sodom itself. So I interpret this. Look. I know it's been a while since I've read the story of Abraham, and I've interpreted it as carefully as much as I can. So in the next video, I'm going to be covering chapter 20, chapter 22 in the book of Genesis. So like again from verses 32 all the way to 38, I believe that the after Lot and his daughters like escape from Sodom and Gomorrah, they hide in the mountains, and knowing that their father is old, they get him drunk with wine, having to lay with him and to bear his children to preserve the family bloodline. So it seems to me, the way I see it, incest was committed, but I think, look, I know that incest is a deadly sin, but also literally a crime. But in today's society, some people think that it's okay for that kind of thing to happen, but it's still both a sin and a crime. But again, both Lot's daughters end up having to lay with him and to bear his children to preserve the family bloodline, is all I'm trying to say, despite the fact that Lot being old and all. So I carefully interpreted this as much as I possibly can. So I'll be covering chapter 22, verses 1 through 24, and I believe it's like the biggest test of Abraham's faith. So stay tuned for that next video. So tell me what you think. Comment below, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and stay up to date for more Bible study videos. Sorry. Okay then. That covers for this chapter right here in the book of Genesis. So take care now. Have a blessed day. Bye.